returning the dead to their final resting place. Caskets containing the skulls of their ancestors finally being given back to the Sami people by the Swedish state, after being taken from graves in the 1950s to be picked over for research. While this gesture may heal some wounds, new ones are being opened up, as the government is accused of failing to properly deal with a climate crisis that threatens the Sami way of life.
We are dependent on nature. It's such an important part of our culture and where we live, and all too often it's making things dangerous. This very sensitive Arctic area, it's sensitive like the rainforest, but in a different way. It's an extreme climate.
Just a few kilometres inside the Arctic Circle, the town of Jokkmokk is a centre of Sami culture in Sweden. The coming winter will be a test for the people and the animals they've depended on for centuries, as erratic temperatures affect their feeding grounds. Scientists say the Arctic is warming up twice as fast as the average global rate, putting the Sami on the front lines of climate change. It's being felt particularly keenly in ancient forests like this, where lichen growing on the ground provides food for reindeer, an animal now facing mass starvation. Reindeer have thrived for millennia in the dry Arctic winters, when the lichen is easy to get under the powdery snow. But those winters are now becoming warmer and wetter, with snow melting and then freezing on the ground, cutting the reindeer off from their food. Thousands have died despite their herders' efforts to feed them by hand, while melting ice sheets have cut off their migratory routes across the Arctic. Sami reindeer herders say the situation is made worse by the disappearance of the old forests, replaced by plantations grown for logging by big business. Plantations that never get old enough to grow the reindeer's food.
De sista åren som har varit de varmaste som är någonsin uppmätta så har det kommit mycket regn och plusgrader i januari, februari, december, november. Som har smält snön till vatten som har sedan frusit till is och så låst allt markbete. I gamla tider som man då alltid bara kunde släppa renen att beta det här. Hänglaven som finns ovanför snön, han är alltid tillgänglig. Men det här är ju en bristvara i produktionsskogar som är idag. Marker som vi har innehaft i tusentals år har övergått i annans bestämmande, annans nyttjande. Förutsättningar för vårt folks kultur förändras och upphör att försvinna.
In 1993, Sweden promised the UN it would give long-term protection to 17% of its boreal forests. But environmental groups say that only 2% have such protection today, a disaster for biodiversity. Sweden has taken action to meet other climate pledges, including the creation of wind farms and hydroelectric plants. But the Sami say that reindeer are afraid to go near the windmills, which cover hundreds of square kilometres of Sami land. The wilderness is also flooded by dams like this one, insult being added to injury after the owners daubed it with Sami designs.
Reindeer herding areas are destroyed by the hydropower parks because the water is so high. Much of the wealth that Sweden has built on is built on Sami ground. The first thing is to face the history of colonization. What Sweden as state has done to my people, and also including the Sami people in the future, in the plans for the future.
Today Sweden is placing almost all of their windmill parks up on Sami territory, just exploiting it again, destroying it again, making our lands into these huge industrial parks of windmills. When the political leaders are creating a future for their kids by stopping climate change, don't do it by eradicating the future for our kids.
Youth activist Janni Staffansson believes green energy solutions are vital, but that the government is implementing them without caring how they affect the Sami. Sweden's Environment Minister refused to comment on our report.
Natural resources is something that we do need. We need to stop using fossil fuels, but we can't do it in an a violation of human rights and indigenous people's rights and the rights of nature. That cannot be the price. Sápmi have already paid for the energy in Sweden with all the land of the reindeer. That energy should be enough to use wisely, not to waste, and then crave Sápmi to provide more for them.
Struggles between the Sami people and the Swedish government go back for centuries. The climate crisis has pitted them against each other again. It's a dispute that must find common ground swiftly if the Sami way of life and the Arctic as we know it are to survive. Paul Rees, Al Jazeera, Lapland, Sweden.